This is Valley View News.
Hydraulic fracturing is extracting oil in California, but it's controversial. Meteors and comets are more common than many people think.
We could get another one tomorrow, and then we might not get one for 150, 200 years.
Convenissero in una basilica di San Pietro.
Scottish cardinal resigns after allegations surface.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I am Rabia Rashid.
And I'm Alexa Fung.
Hearings begin in New Orleans to determine responsibility for the huge 2010 oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. BP is charged with gross negligence and recklessness for the oil rig explosion and resulting spill. Federal and state officials want BP to agree to a $16 billion fine to settle the issue. But BP says other firms are also to make blame for mistakes that caused the accident. 11 people died in the explosion. The oil spill was one of the worst environmental disasters in the U.S. history.
Studies show about 15 billion barrels of untapped oil lie underground throughout much of California. The oil is in what's called the Monterey Shale, but there's controversy over the method used to extract it. Haley Skeen has more on the debate over hydraulic fracturing.
Thanks, Alexa. Oil companies say they've been safely doing hydraulic fracturing for years in California, but there are no laws that regulate when and where it's done or what chemicals are being used. California is experiencing another gold rush. This time it's happening about a mile below the Earth's surface. Hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, is a new method of getting natural gas and oil by pumping water, chemicals, and sand to break apart rocks underground. The economic benefits are promising, but many are concerned about water contamination and insufficient regulation of fracking. Homeowner Dave Martin says he doesn't want to see fracking done anywhere near his property.
There are places where the groundwater, it actually will, when they open the tap, it'll actually burn. And it's because of fracking.
Petroleum industry spokesperson Dave Quast says there's no evidence that fracking poses environmental risk.
There's never been a case of water contamination that's been linked directly to hydraulic fracturing ever, and it's been used more than 1.2 million times in this country since the 1940s.
California State Senator Fran Pavley has authored a new bill that would increase regulations on the oil company whenever they're doing hydraulic fracturing.
Agencies in California will have to have a disclosure website available to the public before and after fracking occurs so that not only the public knows, but our regional water boards.
Quast says there are already regulations and public disclosure in place.
There's a website called fracfocus.org, which is not run by the industry. It's actually the Groundwater Protection Council, which is certainly not an industry group and is an environmental organization that the industry, that producers actually disclose all of the chemicals that they use.
I don't think they're good enough. So I'm putting forward a plan B, if you will, that is more restrictive.
But there are many potential benefits that fracking offers to California.
Do we want to create jobs? Do we want to improve our environment? Because producing energy at home using very highly regulated technologies is certainly a lot better for California's environment than importing our oil from countries that don't have those environmental protections.
I'm not going to contaminate our water supply in California so that oil and gas companies can make lots of money.
But it's not just the oil companies that make money off of fracking.
If you are from Kern County, where most of the fracturing is going on, it's about jobs. They want hydraulic fracturing, and my job is to make sure that it's safe.
I'm a California parent. I want clean water, I want clean air. We all want the same thing.
While lawmakers dispute mandatory regulations, Californians will have to rely on the information that the oil companies are willing to volunteer. State officials say it could be at least a year before laws on hydraulic fracturing are implemented. Back to you in the studio.
President Obama is urging Congress to compromise on a deal to avoid budget cuts set for the Friday.
In just 4 days, Congress is poised to allow a series of arbitrary, automatic budget cuts to kick in that will slow our economy, eliminate good jobs, and leave a lot of folks who are already pretty thinly stretched scrambling to figure out what to do.
The president's plan includes eliminating tax loopholes for wealthy Americans. Republicans in Congress say they will not agree to raising taxes. They want to reduce spending to avoid the looming cuts.
California lawmakers are considering Governor Brown's plan to give school districts more leeway in how state funds are used. Under Brown's proposal, all districts will receive increased funding, but schools with the greatest need will receive more. Such funds will go to districts with more low-income students and those who are not fluent in English. The Los Angeles Unified School District will receive about $800 more per student over the next 2 years.
Cuban President Raul Castro has announced his retirement at the end of his 5-year term. He will step down from office in 2018. The new parliament named Miguel Diaz-Canel the first vice president to succeed Castro. Former President Fidel Castro joined the National Assembly meeting in a rare public appearance since falling ill and ceding the presidency to his brother. The new government will be last headed by the Castro brothers since Cuba's 1959 revolution.
Scottish Cardinal Keith O'Brien has announced his resignation amid claims of inappropriate acts with men. During the public announcement, Cardinal O'Brien did not address these allegations, but did confirm that he would not attend the conclave to elect the new pope. The Vatican and the Catholic Church of Scotland said Pope Benedict accepted Cardinal O'Brien's resignation after reviewing sexual abuse complaints about the cardinal. In stepping down, Cardinal O'Brien relinquishes control of the Archdiocese of St. Andrews and Edinburgh, that is the top Catholic post in Scotland.
Ever since Pope Benedict XVI first announced he would resign, people have wondered why. The Vatican leader announced what he called the end of his journey in early February. Valley View News reporter Wendy Aguilar has reaction.
Pope Benedict XVI gives his final Sunday blessing from his window on St. Peter's Square. The event drew a crowd of 100,000 people. Pope Benedict XVI's resignation is the first in 600 years. Many Catholics were shocked while others were disappointed.
And it's disappointing that this Pope is just taking off.
Others feel a sense of surprise, but this is, I think, a very significant historical moment for the Roman Catholic Church.
The Bishop of Rome blamed his age and deteriorating health for his retirement, but many speculate otherwise.
I know the scandals that have been going on. Maybe he just doesn't want to deal with it.
Italian press publications suggest that the bishop received a report last December with allegations of a network of gay priests at the Vatican. The Vatican responds by calling the allegations, quote, unverified, unverifiable, or even completely false news stories that cause serious damage to persons and institutions. There are 116 cardinals who will vote for the next leader now that Benedict has resigned. Reporting from Northridge, Wendy Aguilar, Valley View News.
South Korea has sworn in its first female president. Park Geun-hye, the daughter of South Korea's late military ruler, faces significant challenges as the leader of the fourth largest economy in Asia. The conservative leader wants a period of new economic revival and better relations with its neighbor North Korea. Geun-hye urged North Korea to abandon its nuclear testing and embark on a path to peace and shared development. The popular Korean rapper Psy, whose song was a global hit last year, Gangnam Style, also performed at the inaugural ceremony.
A football team in Santa Clarita is using its games to help in the fight against cancer. Fanny Cano reports on the Skyhawks in the weekend opening game.
These football players may seem rough going into the field, but their cause has a much softer side. The Santa Clarita Skyhawks are tackling for more than just points, but for the fight against cancer. Friends and family came out to support their favorite team for the weekend's opening game against the High Desert Rams. Team's manager Michael McIntyre says although the event fell a little short of expectations, the best is still yet to come.
Once we get the games and they're going, the fans start to build up and we go from there. So this is just the beginning for me.
Over the last couple of years, the team has adopted the Michael Hoffman Foundation, which strives for the progress in the fight against cancer.
The Michael Hoffman Foundation was established in 1994. Since then, it's been working to aid children whose lives have been affected by cancer.
Joshua Daniels, one of the Skyhawks' newest members, says he plays with his heart today.
Because I love kids. That's the reason why I make time for this. I could be, working, making money, but I'd rather be doing this.
For team captain Kenny Suber, the cause hits closer to home.
I mean, my mom had cancer. She was diagnosed, and, that just, it put, that person on my back to get me going.
In 2007, over 10,000 children were diagnosed with some type of cancer. Cancer is the leading cause of death by disease among U.S. children ages 1 to 14. Although the weekend's game didn't bring a victory, and the score ending 21-13, it is the beginning to what the Skyhawks hope will be a great season. From Santa Clarita, this is Fanny Cano for Valley View News.
The subway to the sea is supposed to make life much better for commuters between downtown LA and Santa Monica, but Valley View's Malcolm Hoyle reports all the construction is causing a few headaches.
The subway to the sea is creating a sea of traffic problems in downtown Santa Monica. Some streets are closed near the promenade and the pier, two of the most popular places in the city, and that's causing problems for visitors. Construction of Phase 2 of the Expo Line extension has begun, and with that comes lane closures and more traffic in Santa Monica. To make room for construction, the eastbound lanes of Colorado between 4th and 5th Streets have been closed for good. This work will bring a new station to Colorado and 4th Street, which will be the end of the line for the new service. Exposition Construction Authority Engineering Director Bill Reagan says 10% of the construction is done.
We're constructing rail lines, one in each direction. We are also constructing 7 stations and all the necessary control and communication systems required for the facility.
However, drivers beware. These delays will continue until the work is done in 2015. Metro, the operator of the extended line, estimates about 64,000 riders will use the service daily by 2030. The nearly 7-mile extension will connect the Los Angeles area to the beach by rail. Drivers are encouraged to use Lincoln and Broadway in Santa Monica to avoid delays. Other partial closures in the area will happen closer to the opening of the line.
Coming up after the break, we have full Oscar coverage, including red carpet fashion, winners of the night, and who went home empty-handed. Stay with us.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Come on, let's go.
Just a minute, I gotta finish this.
Wait, you're gonna post those pictures of Mary?
Yep. She thinks she's so hot.
But her mom and dad will see them. Her grandmother, her little sister, everyone she knows, it's gonna kill her.
Who cares? Just a couple of pictures. It's no big deal.
No big deal? Don't. This has gotta stop.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at fatherhood.gov.
Here's the scoop. From new actors to old-timers, people came together for the grand event, the Oscars, of course. Here's Gina Hernandez with more on entertainment.
There were not many upsets at the 85th Annual Academy Awards held at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles. This was a year filled with powerhouse contenders, and as expected, Argo took home the Oscar for Best Picture. Best Director award went to Ang Lee for The Life of Pi, beating out Steven Spielberg for Lincoln. Many expected Daniel Day-Lewis to win in the Best Actor category, and he did. Another frontrunner, Anne Hathaway, won for Best Supporting Actress. Best Supporting Actor winner Christoph Waltz surprised many by beating out favorites Robert De Niro from Silver Linings Playbook and Lincoln's Tommy Lee Jones. Jennifer Lawrence claimed the Best Actress award for her role as a troubled dancer in Silver Linings Playbook. Lawrence defeated a strong lineup including Zero Dark 30's Jessica Chastain. Other winners include Brave for Best Animated Feature Film and Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained for Best Original Screenplay. The 3.5 Oscar telecast was one of the most memorable in recent years. This year's Best Actress winner, Jennifer Lawrence, won over fans by tumbling to the stage to accept her award. Lawrence was full of humor when asked about the trip. Classic cuts and colors prevailed. Reese Witherspoon proved to be a standout of the night in a stunning blue and black Louis Vuitton strapless dress with a cascading train. Anne Hathaway's champagne-colored Prada gown crisscrossed in the back with jeweled accents. Other stunners included Jessica Chastain, who wore a strapless copper Armani Privé gown. Amy Adams strolled the red carpet looking like a princess in a fluffy pale gray Oscar de la Renta with a flowing train. When it came to hair and makeup, the celebrities kept it glamorous and simple. In terms of trend, it's a season of longer Veronica Lake curls or simple updos. Music industry legend Clive Davis is revealing that he is bisexual. Davis will reveal a memoir with details about both his personal and professional life. The memoir, titled The Soundtrack of My Life, gives the details about his dating behavior. The music executive says he has been in monogamous relationships with women and men. He also says he has been in a relationship with a man for the past 7 years. David has helped form the careers of artists like Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, and Bruce Springsteen. Former Temptations member Damon Harris has died at the age of 62. The famous Motown singer lost his 14-year-old long battle against prostate cancer. Harris joined the Temptations in 1971 at the age of 20. He stayed with the group for 4 years before going solo. Harris was best known for his rich tenor voice. His talent was shown most in the hit song Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Harris became an advocate in the fight against cancer during his final years. That's all for your entertainment news. Back to you, Rabia.
Movies aren't just for moviegoers anymore. Reporter Alexa Fung takes a look at how the movie industry gives a boost to another business, comic books.
It lives in my bedroom in a bunch of crates.
It's just fun to see all this like bizarre stuff, like Almighty
These people aren't talking about wild animals, but comic books. At the second annual LA Zine Fest, comic book enthusiasts gathered to share homemade and self-published zines. With the recent success of movies and TV shows like The Avengers and The Walking Dead, comic books have seen a recent jump in sales in certain issues. According to the comic book convention MightyCon's website, issue number 55 of Iron Man saw a nearly 500% increase in sales. Over the past year alone, comic book sales in North America have increased nearly $30 million. This occurred after a post-credit scene in The Avengers hinted at a sequel featuring one of the characters. CSUN Comics and graphic novel professor Charles Hatfield says the link may not be so clear-cut.
It's tempting to think that the Hollywood adaptations have something to do with it. I just know it's not a simple 1 = 1 equation.
The LA Zine Fest offered visitors a chance to take a look at comics before some of them might be turned into the next big thing. Regardless of sales, visitors purchase zines because of the feelings involved when reading it.
Meeting with the people who write them, it's more real, I guess.
You're making a kind of book or a kind of reading experience where the text doesn't pretend to be invisible. It doesn't just pretend to be a voice whispering in your ear the way so many traditional books do. Instead, it's asking you to look at it, not to look through it.
In Hollywood, I'm Alexa Fung for Valley View News.
Ever since the meteor exploded over Russia, it has many people wondering if their town could be in danger from some of the Milky Way's many flying objects. Vanessa Alvarez finds out planet Earth is actually hit by cosmic debris every day.
Just last month, Russia experienced history when a meteorite crashed into Earth, injuring thousands of people. Scientists have found that the meteorite came from a main asteroid belt near the planet Mars.
Here at the Griffith Observatory, I talked to astronomical lecturer Dr. David Reitzel, and he let me know that we have thousands of meteors that fly through our atmosphere daily. However, meteorites the size of the one that hit Russia don't happen very often.
Now, we could get another one tomorrow, and then we might not get one for 150, 200 years. So it's not periodic. It's not something we can count on. But when you sort of do the averages, it averages out to about one every 100 years.
Dr. Reitzel also informed me that a meteor is the trail of light left behind from an asteroid. When bits of that meteor hit Earth, those are then called meteorites. Dr. Reitzel says meteorites can be made of several different materials.
There's metallic ones, like the one I'm holding here. This is made of iron and nickel. Yet there are also ones that are mostly made of stone.
Along with meteors and asteroids, we also discussed comets. Comets obtain different gases, giving them what we see as a glowing tail as they fly through space. Dr. Reitzel says we actually have a few flying by really soon.
It could be the year of the comet. So, in fact, I think it's Pan-STARRS that's in March, and ISON is going to be in November.
Dr. Reitzel says places like the desert are best for viewing comets, and luckily they stick around for at least a week at a time. What many also may not know is that meteors can be debris left behind by comets. When comets fly near the sun, their gases give off bits of sand, and those become meteors in our sky. In Hollywood, I'm Vanessa Alvarez for Valley View News.
Shopping centers in Southern California are trying to attract Asian American shoppers and Asian tourists. Asian American spending power could reach over $1 trillion within 5 years. Shopping centers are taking advantage of the influx of tourists from Asia by offering multilingual messaging, hosting Lunar New Year festivals and displaying Asian decorations. Popular food chains from China are also set to establish restaurants in some Southland malls.
A new kind of gigantic goldfish has been found deep in Lake Tahoe. This invasive goldfish species is nearly 1.5 feet long and weighs more than 4 pounds. According to an environmental researcher, the goldfish eat native species and could pose serious threats to the ecosystem. The big goldfish also excrete certain nutrients that trigger rapid algae growth. The algae could foul the fresh, clear waters of Lake Tahoe.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is working to contain a tuberculosis outbreak on Skid Row in Los Angeles. Health department officials estimate more than 4,500 people have been exposed to the highly infectious disease. The CDC has been screening residents of downtown LA. These new procedures are helping to control the spread of tuberculosis. The health department has issued an alert to doctors at emergency rooms, clinics, and urgent care centers, informing them about the investigation among the homeless.
Samsung, Sony, and Hewlett-Packard have announced the release of new tablets that will compete with Apple's iPad. Samsung's Galaxy Note 8.0 will have an 8-inch screen and will come with the S Pen stylus. It can be used as a universal remote control for televisions and Blu-ray players, among other devices. The release date has not been set yet. Sony has announced an ultra-thin Xperia Tablet Z that is thinner than Apple's iPad mini and is water-resistant for up to 3 feet deep. It will be available this spring, and the price will range from $499 to $599, depending on memory. HP announced the HP Slate 7 that has a 7-inch screen. It also has a built-in 8GB memory that can be expanded with micro SD memory cards. The HP Slate 7 will cost $169 and will be available in April.
Students at 99th Street Elementary School near Watts received a pleasant surprise this week. A bunch of dads came in to read to them. The 5th annual Donuts with Dads event kicked off with 150 men coming in to read stories, including many LAPD and CHP officers. The program was created by Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa to help kids enjoy learning to read. A survey conducted at the school found that nearly 80% of the students did not have a father at home. Since the launch of Donuts with Dads, the school has started other similar programs with muffins with moms and goodies with grandparents.
Glendale school officials say they'll boost security at campuses district-wide. They plan to equip all schools with security cameras. Panic buttons will also be placed in certain areas, so 911 can be called with a single push. Glendale has had scares with bomb threats and reports of guns near schools. The increased security follows the shooting in Newtown, Connecticut that left 20 children and 6 adults dead. After the break, we'll take a look at who won the Daytona 500, Lakers win another in their race to make the playoffs, and who came up on top in the latest basketball game against rivals UCLA and USC.
Jack Frost, you do have beautiful teeth.
My what?
Are they really as white as they say? Yes. Oh, they really do sparkle like freshly fallen snow. This is an excellent example of what teeth should look like. Check out the iridescence of that incisor, the beauty of that bicuspid, the magnificence of those molars. And the best way to achieve such terrific teeth is brushing. 2 minutes, twice a day. Not 30 seconds, not a minute 45. 2 minutes. That's all it takes. They're beautiful.
Packers, Viking, Packers, Viking, Viking.
Red state, blue state, vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown. Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities, our families, united. Even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
Learning how to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Jimmy Johnson has won the Daytona 500. This is the second win for Johnson in the Great American Race. The 5-time NASCAR champion held off Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Mark Martin to seal the win at Daytona. NASCAR's new Gen 6 cars made their debut at the race. Danica Patrick also made history, becoming the first woman to lead a lap at Daytona. Johnson joins Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Jr. among others who have won their 400th career start. He previously won the race in 2006. To say the Lakers' season has been less than ideal would be an understatement. But 3.5 games out of a playoff spot, the Lakers went into Dallas looking to win their second straight game against the Mavericks. In the first half, it was all Kobe Bryant, who dialed in 16 points and 6 assists, but the Lakers were tied with the Mavs at the break 54 apiece. In the second half, it was just more of Kobe being Kobe. He hit all 4 shots in the fourth quarter to finish with 38 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists, as the Lakers went on to beat the Mavs 103-99. The Lakers remained 2.5 games out of the 8th and final playoff spot going into their game against Denver. In a side note, the Oklahoma City Thunder have re-signed former Laker point guard Derek Fisher to help bolster their bench. UCLA's men's basketball team has beat crosstown rival USC 75-59. The win keeps the Bruins in the hunt for first place in the Pac-12. The Bruins jumped out to an early lead, and the Trojans never caught up. After being down by as many as 25, USC was able to cut the lead to 9 in the last 5 minutes of the contest. The Bruins gave a balanced performance with all 5 starters scoring in double figures. Jordan Adams led all Bruins with 20. In the NFL, a pair of veteran Bay Area quarterbacks are waiting to see how their teams decide their future. The San Francisco 49ers are reportedly set on trading QB Alex Smith after he lost his starting job to Colin Kaepernick last season while Smith was out with a concussion. The Kansas City Chiefs and division rival Arizona Cardinals are reportedly looking at Smith. There isn't a deal set in place just yet, but the team can't complete a trade until March 12th. That is when the 2013 league year officially begins. In Oakland, the Raiders are looking to restructure QB Carson Palmer's deal, which is set to pay him $13 million next season. The former USC Trojan passed for more than 4,000 yards last season with 22 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. The team recently announced Palmer will be competing for the starting job with backup Terrell Pryor, who was drafted in the team's 2011 supplemental draft. The team is reportedly designing plays to help Pryor get on the field more to help the team. He started the final game of the season as Palmer was sidelined with injuries. He went 13 for 38 with 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception in a 24-21 loss to the Chargers. New York Yankees outfielder Curtis Granderson has suffered a broken forearm after being hit by a pitch. He is not expected back until early May. Granderson was hit by J.A. Happ's first ball in his first spring at-bat. The team originally hoped the arm was bruised, but x-rays later revealed the fracture. The outfielder hit 43 homers and drove in over 100 runs for New York last season. The matchups are set in LA City Basketball Championships. On the boys' side, Woodland Hills El Camino Real will face top seed and 11-time city champion Westchester. The Conquistadors defeated Crenshaw in the semifinal to reach their first ever city championship game. The Commons defeated Western League foe Palisades in the other semifinal. Fairfax and Narbonne beat University and El Camino and will face off on the girls' side. Both games will be played on the CSU Dominguez Hills campus. That's all for sports. Back to you, Alexa.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching Valley View News.